Well, greetings, Cap fans. Welcome to episode 267 of the Captain America Comic Book Fans Podcast. I'm your host. My name is Rick Verbanis. I got a co host, and you know who he is. He's the best gosh darn one out there. His name is Bob Lucius. Oh, Bob. People try to put us down just because we get around. Things they do look awful cold. I hope I die before I get old.
Is this a Beach Boys song?
Nope, but you're in the
Oh,
right you're in the right
am
era.
I? Oh man, thought that might have been "Get Around," round,
No,
round.
no.
No. What is
Yeah.
it, my friend?
This is my generation.
Oh,
My generation, baby.
all right. I don't know who that
Why
is.
don't you all fade away?
Is that the Who or something?
It is the Who.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. All right.
Yeah. My generation. That was like a huge hit.
Yeah.
Cult classic too. I mean, like, a whole generation of kids got into that song big time.
Yeah.
Had not and I think the fact that when he says, "Why don't you all fade away?"
Yeah.
I think a lot of kids were like, "I knew what he was trying to say there."
Yeah. Right. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, Bob. Why am I greeting you with a Who song?
Well, because we are reading tonight one of the 10 issues in the anthology known as Generations.
That's true. And we are doing the specific one that is to Captain America because that is our ilk.
That is our ilk. Yes, that
Yeah.
is our thing.
hmm
Yeah.
Yeah. In case yeah, it kind of goes in the title of the show. This is a great story. This was actually on your
Bucket list.
bucket list for 2025,
It was, yeah.
and we're finally getting around
And
to it.
2024, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, who remembers such things?
Yes.
Yeah,
I remember
yeah.
bucket lists and grudges, Rick.
I think in some cases they're the same thing.
They are the same thing. Yes.
Yeah. So we finally got around to this one. You convinced me because I wanted to do. I was struggling, Bob, because if you're listening to this episode when it comes out, it's the week of Thanksgiving, and Thanksgiving is probably my. I love Christmas. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
Love, love, love Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
But I might appreciate Thanksgiving the most of all the holidays. And I think it's and trust me, it's not because of the season. I don't like it when it gets colder,
Yeah.
and leaves turn and all that stuff. But I love the message and the whole meaning behind Thanksgiving,
Right.
which is being grateful for what we have
Mm-hmm.
and being and really taking stock of all the things that are important in our lives and the things that we take for granted. And so
Yeah.
I wanted to find a story that had that heart in it.
Mm.
And I felt like this story may have been appropriate.
Yeah, it's a great story, and I got to be honest. I haven't read the other 9 stories in this series, and they're all different, characters
Right.
that team up. This just happens to be Sam and Steve. But I mean, I read it many years ago when it first came out, and a couple times since, which is why it was on my bucket list. But it's heartwarming on a number of different levels. So I'm glad that we're going to be tackling it tonight,
Yeah.
especially for folks who haven't read it yet. Maybe this will pique their interest.
Yep. Yeah. And what about Thanksgiving? What does that mean to you and your family?
Yeah.
What do you guys do? Anything special?
Gosh, I got to be honest with you. It when we lived in California and it was just us. Um, I mean, and by us, I mean my wife and my son and I and our cats. It was very family oriented for us, and we would always invite people in. So, in fact, uh, my wife's aunt and her husband met at our Thanksgiving table.
Oh, how about that?
Yeah, we introduced them, and we met him because him and his wife, who has since passed, they lived in that town, and we met them, invited them to dinner. And then the next year she had passed. And so we invited my wife's aunt, and they hit it off. And next thing you know, 3 years later, they got married, and they live here in Florida now. So, but we'd invite other people from the community, from the military school where I worked at the time. But when we moved to Florida, it just got so much more hectic, because my in-laws live on the other coast of Florida, and we would always go over there, and everything seems rushed and hectic and chaotic. And I got to be honest with you, man. It doesn't hit me the way it used to be when it was like small and intimate.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it almost seems like there's not time to reflect, because we're so busy doing everything else.
Yeah, I could see that happening. I could totally see that happening. I mean, for me, that's how Christmas ends up being, right? You're going from one family to another family, especially if like in my family, right? Because my wife, my first wife and I are divorced. My kids, spend time with them, spend time with us,
Yeah.
and so then they go and they spend times with their mom's parents,
Right.
and then they go spend time with my current wife's
Yeah.
parents. But guess what?
Yeah.
They're divorced. So then
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
there's that family, the dad's family, and then there's the mom's family, and God love them, my kids want to do it all.
You have to reimburse by the mile.
I mean, they want to do it all because
Yeah.
family's important. So I get it. I get it that rushing around, you sometimes lose the meaning of the season. But Bob, I'm going to challenge you this year.
All right.
I'm going to challenge you. Take some time.
Yeah.
Take some time to reflect on what you're grateful for. I know you do it anyway, but maybe go a little above and beyond the normal, right? Journal, do something. And I say that for our listeners too, right? Is that we have so much to be grateful for, and and we have listeners all around the world, right? So
Right.
Thanksgiving is an American holiday, but I encourage this to everybody, and that is, take some time and just really reflect on what blessings you have in your life. Because I think when we do that, it really puts everything else in perspective. And I wish that for our listeners this holiday season.
All right. So what I'm hearing is, if I do this, I can grouse the other 364 days of the year.
Yeah.
Okay,
That's
good.
exactly. You took exactly what I meant from this. Good for you, Bob.
Always looking for the loophole, Rick.
Bob, and for those who are celebrating birthdays, if you are celebrating a birthday on November 30th, which is coming up soon, you share it with a couple of great comic book creators. Number one, Keith Giffen, who unfortunately has passed, but this would have been his birthday, and then Robert Kirkman. Now, Bob, Robert Kirkman, I know for Cap fans, of course, they think of Volume 4 and those stories that Robert Kirkman wrote, and I always think is synonymous with him, Captain America, and Diamondback getting a room, but he was obviously the creator of The Walking Dead.
Yeah.
He's the creator of Invincible. So he is he's a huge comic book creator. And so anyway, happy birthday to Robert Kirkman.
Yes. Happy birthday to both, and long live their legacy.
All right, Bob. This is actually an extra long issue. It's not 22 pages. I think it's 32 pages. We should probably jump into it.
Yeah, probably a good idea.
Every Who down in Who Newville liked the holidays a ton, but where to get great prices on gifts, they had no idea. None. They searched and they searched for great gifts under $25. Gifts for spouses and friends and even their toddlers. When suddenly one Who shouted, Walmart has what you want, knowing they have Lego, Tree Hut, and low prices to flaunt. So they enjoy the holiday season as Who's often do. Cheering and shouting, Walmart has incredible gifts. Who knew? Find gifts they'll love under $25 at Walmart.
We find Vecna, we end this once and for all, together.
On November 26th.
We have a plan. It's a bit insane. Everyone in?
He knows where we are.
Watch out!
Get ready for one last adventure.
We stay true to ourselves. Stay true to our friends, no matter the cost.
Found you. Stranger Things, the final season, begins November 26th, only on Netflix.
All right. Do you want to take the listeners through the cover?
Yeah. So cover A, there's lots of variant covers on this, including one by our very own Paulo Rivera, right? Who we've had on the show. But this one's by, I think, Paul Renaud, right? Cover A.
Yes.
Yeah. And so we've got really cool action going on here on the cover. So we've got Cap in the foreground, and he's racing toward us with his shield in his right hand and his left fist extended toward us. And over his left shoulder, we see Sam Wilson in his Captain America uniform, flying just above Cap. But what's really cool here, and what throws us for a loop, is in the background, we see some World War II soldiers and Bucky Barnes carrying his Thompson submachine gun. And way up above them are several U.S. Army Air Force bombers, not bombers, they're transports. And we see paratroopers dropping from these aircraft. So I hate to say it, Rick, but I think this is a World War II story.
Yeah. It definitely has a lot of World War II elements in there. I should have realized it when you put it on your bucket list.
Yeah.
Somehow I got sucked in, and
Subversive. Yeah.
I know, man.
Yeah.
I should really think these things through ahead of time. Yeah. It's a great cover. It really is cool seeing two Captain Americas and two Captain America shields on the same cover. But it is a little intriguing because, again, you have Sam Wilson in a what appears to be a World War II piece. So, what's going on there?
Indeed.
The creators for this particular issue, the writer is Nick Spencer. Now, Cap fans are very divided on Nick Spencer. He has been a writer, I want to say, since around 2010. And this story took place in 2017. So he's been around for a little bit. He got his start, I think, writing Captain America in the pages of Secret Avengers. But he also wrote the Sam Wilson Captain America series. So when Sam Wilson became Captain America because a Steve Rogers was depowered and de-aged, and so he became aged, older,
Right. Yeah.
and so he could no longer be Captain America, so he gave the mantle to Sam Wilson, and so Nick Spencer wrote the Sam Wilson Captain America series, which went for basically
20 something issues, right? Yeah.
24 issues. Yeah. But also at that time, at some point, Captain America, Steve Rogers, I should say, he gets his youth back. And then there's a new series that kicks off, and it's Steve Rogers, Captain America. This is the infamous Hydra Cap.
Yes.
Right. That and Nick Spencer writes that, which goes for 19 issues. Somewhere along the line, after about a year into this, he kicks off the Secret Empire story, and he wrote Secret Empire 0 through 10. And then it culminates in a Captain America 25. So basically, Sam Wilson, Captain America, goes up to issue 24, and then it just turns into Captain America 25, and it's Sam versus Cap. This story that we're reading right here takes place immediately after that in 2017.
Yeah.
So it's just a month or two
nice
later.
Yeah.
And so that's what gets you up to speed. So what has happened to this point? There was a big battle in Secret Empire between Hydra Cap and the rest of the Marvel Universe. Steve Rogers, the ones we know and love, comes back to fight and end the Hydra Cap. And at that point, something happens in the story, which these Generation One shots basically cover.
Yeah. Yeah, nicely done. Yeah, I mean, covered a lot of ground there, Rick. Yeah, I'll tell you, I ordered and just recently received the trade paperbacks for the Sam Wilson run, that 24 issues, and assorted one shots in there, and have been reading through those, and man, that's good stuff. If folks never really took that off ramp and did the
Yeah.
Captain America Sam Wilson series, great writing and a very, very how do I say this? Timely.
Yeah, addresses some tough topics.
It does address some tough topics, and definitely worth picking up,
Yeah.
or pulling out of your storage and reading those issues again, because it's good stuff.
Yeah, and I'm hoping after listening or following along, if you're watching this on YouTube, I'm hoping that after people hear this story about Sam Wilson, maybe it'll inspire them to pick those up.
Yeah.
Because I actually have two. I think it's two trades. I have these
Yeah.
two big thick trades that
Right.
I got as a Christmas present. You know, people ask me like, "What do you want for Christmas?" And I was like,
Right.
"Sam Wilson Captain America trade." So I got these a few years ago.
Yeah.
Anyway, I would say, yeah, I hope it inspires them. If you like this writer and this story, and you're intrigued by Sam Wilson, it is definitely worth picking up. All right, now getting to the artist on this particular special is Paul Renaud, which you had mentioned with the cover. Is a French artist, and he both pencils and inks his own work. Now, interesting about Paul is that he hasn't done a ton of interiors. He did do, I want to say, 4 or 5 issues of the aforementioned Sam Wilson Captain America series that Nick wrote. So I think he did that, but he did a bunch of covers. He's done hundreds of covers over the years, and including the Sam Wilson series, and also including some of the Steve Rogers Captain America series. He's a really good artist. And also, colorist is Laura Martin. Letterer is Joe Caramagna, who was on the show, and edited by Alana Smith and Tom Brevoort. Both also have been on the show. Would you like me to read the solicitation?
Yeah, of course.
They were part of the greatest generation. And now Sam Wilson finds himself alongside them yet again in a strange yet familiar setting, fighting shoulder to shoulder with Captain America and Bucky against a seemingly unstoppable threat to the safety of the world. So this had a cover date of November 2017, but came out release date of September 27th.
What were you doing back in 2017, Rick?
Well, Bob, I actually at this point was just starting at my current job. So I just celebrated 8-year anniversary at my current job.
All right.
That's what I was doing.
Yeah,
How about you?
Moving to Florida.
Ooh.
Relocating from Pacific Grove, California to Naples, Florida. So just in time for the hurricane.
And the title to this story, Bob, is
The Vanishing Point?
We'll go with that. An instant apart, a moment beyond. Loosed from the shackles of past, present, future, a place where time has no meaning, but where true insight can be gained. Make your choice. Select your destination. This journey is a gift.
Rick, that could be a promo for this show.
You know what? I really could.
Really could, you know?
Yeah, it's a good point. So we turn the page and we get to Sam Wilson sitting in his Captain America uniform with the shield on the back. And he's sitting at a table in a dark room, but there's a spotlight above him. And it's almost like he's being interrogated. But Sam is looking off and looking pensive. Mr. Wilson. And he turns his attention to the speaker. Sorry. Would you like me to repeat the question, sir? Sure. Go for it. At 1604 Eastern Time on the day of the Battle of Washington, you and a number of other individuals involved in the fighting suddenly vanished. At 1605 Eastern Time, you reappeared. What do you remember about that experience? And Sam looks down and thinks. Experience? Yeah, that's one word for it. As for what I remember a country trapped in its own worst nightmare. I remember fighting back, and then some of us were taken. And what is he reminiscing about, Bob?
Yeah, well, I mean, this was the final battle against the Hydra Supreme or Supreme Hydra. What do they call him? Hydra Cap, Supreme Cap. I don't know. And his forces in Washington D.C. when all of the Avengers and allies came out and were battling.
And when he says some of us were taken, who were the some of us?
All right. Well, there's Amadeus Cho as Hulk. And let's see, we've got Kamala Khan and Laura Kinney as a Wolverine and Captain Marvel, Carol Danvers. Looks like we got Miles Morales and Ironheart is there, Riri Williams. And then we've got Jane Foster as Thor.
Yeah, and these characters, other than, well, I guess we can include Carol Danvers. All of these characters are spin-offs of other characters.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. That's an important point.
Yeah. And I think that's where all these generation one-shots came from. Now, I want to take a pause here just for a second because I know there's going to be some old school readers.
Yeah.
They're going to be like, oh, why do they have spin-offs of characters?
Unoriginal.
Right.
Yeah.
But, and I hear you. Right? Like, why can't they have a new, why can't that character be somebody different? And I think for a couple of reasons here. One, it makes sense, right? It just makes sense that there are going to be characters that are inspired by the heroes that we know and love, right? Like really Williams, right? Ironheart. You know, I can't say I'm a huge fan of the character, but I get it. Right?
Yeah.
Like, she's a smart person who was inspired by Tony Stark, and so she built her own Iron Man uniform.
Yeah.
I get it. You're right. And then as far as Camilla Khan, she has powers completely different from Captain Marvel, but she grew up admiring Captain Marvel. So she wanted to name herself after that. I get it.
Yeah.
Then there's the other thing too you have to remember is that, Marvel's a business and they're always going to try to expand their listener or I'm sorry, their customer base.
Their audience, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And so, yeah, of course they're going to try to expand in areas that don't already have a million other duplicative characters, right? Like, do they need another white guy with strength and, doing, like another Steve Rogers? Do they really like there's so many other versions of that, right? No. Because, a Middle Eastern character, speaks to a Middle Eastern reader,
right?
Or the LGBTQ community, or a black person, or just a female,
Right.
like like these are all. I get it from a business perspective, and I'm not offended by it because guess what? If I want to read Steve Rogers, I can still read Steve Rogers.
Right.
You know what I mean? If I want to read about Tony Stark, I can still read about Tony Stark. None of that's gotten really taken away.
You were exactly. Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's I'm not offended by it because these other spin-off characters exist. So
There's a
I
couple ways to look at it, right, Rick? Right? I mean, it's an intellectual property, and why wouldn't you want to take that intellectual property that has proven itself to be well lucrative, but also beloved, and try to find a way to attract more people to an idea like an Iron Man or Captain America or Spider Man, right?
yeah,
Thor, right? That makes sense. And there's two ways to look at it. One way is that it waters down, these derivative characters water down the property, but in my view, it enriches it. Like we were just talking about that 24 issue run of Captain America Sam Wilson is a phenomenal piece of work. It's great writing, interesting story, great art, and it's not Captain America Steve Rogers. So we're getting extra stuff
yeah,
in addition to the characters we grew up on. So, in my view, it's a win-win.
yeah, yep, me too. So all of these characters vanish, and that's what brings us to these Generation One shots. And Sam vanishes, but he wakes up elsewhere. Excuse me, young man, if you don't mind me asking, what in the hell are you wearing? Now, Sam is still in his Captain America uniform, and he's in an alleyway, and there's an older black man there kind of standing over him. Where am I? Heh, that crazy at night, huh? Well, I can't say I blame you. A man's allowed to cut loose a bit when he's about to enlist. Enlist? Sure. I mean, that is why you here, right? Yeah? I figured with you all dressed in the stars and stripes, but I should warn you, you got a long wait. The cars, the clothes, the look of resolute strength on people's faces as they line up to do what they have to do. I knew where I was. Steve had told me the stories too many times. New York City at the start of World War II. And there's a huge line for people to enlist. And I don't know how the military fellows are going to feel about that get up. Time travel, or whatever this might be, can be real disorienting. But I got lucky. Elvin Monroe, the man who found me in the alleyway, took me in, gave me a place to sleep, some clothes that were a little more appropriate, even found me a job, working next to him in the kitchen of a Harlem restaurant that closed before I was even born. I took the name Paul Jeffries, my father's first name and my mother's maiden name. It all happened so fast. And yeah, it was more than a little surreal. But, hard as it might be to explain, I felt this pull, like I was supposed to be here. I was watching history unfold right in front of my eyes. None of it good. And we cut to a scene where he is in a movie theater watching black and white reels, seeing Adolf Hitler. You'd think knowing how the stories end would make them easier to sit through. But when you're there, trust me, that's not the case. I'd heard the rules of time travel from Reed Richards and Tony Stark enough times to know my safest bet was to keep my head down. Try not to change much. But with so many others answering the call, I couldn't just stand there and do nothing. So I volunteered. And he did. He enlists in the army. And he's getting yelled at by a drill sergeant, Bob.
You giving me an eye, Private?
No, sir. The training itself came easy enough. But watching other men train in better conditions, thanks to the color of their skin, that didn't. Still, I made a lot of good friends in those barracks. And by the time we shipped off, we were more like family. We had to be. And we do. We see him going through the whole training. And and then now they're looks like they're in
That's a
a
transport truck.
yeah. Is it a truck or I mean it could be an airplane for all we know,
Could
right?
be an airplane too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because but they're all black,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Because they were segregated back
Right.
then during the
Yeah.
war. This war demanded it. Around us, there was so much loss, so much devastation. And even in the face of all that, there was still hope. And we look at a bunker at the top of a hill, and it seems like a fortress, right? I mean, it's got smooth cement walls, and then it's got barbed wire, everything around it, and then you see in trenches around this place, you see German soldiers that are behind sandbags with their machine guns set up, firing on U.S. soldiers who are in their own little trench. And it's a dogfight, but out of nowhere, who shows up, Bob?
It's the man himself, Rick, Captain America.
And how would you describe what he's wearing, Bob?
Yeah. So he is wearing his earliest uniform, right? I mean, he's got the chainmail on, but the wings on his helmet, and he's got a chin strap. He's got pouches, but he's got his heater shield. So we know this is very early on.
Yeah, and he's got that mask. It's like a half mask,
Yeah.
right? So it doesn't cover his neck. So yeah, definitely is a little different. But he's still got pouches, Bob.
Got to have those pouches in combat, Rick. Got to have your Tabasco sauce.
Is that what you carried around?
Oh, you absolutely keep that. Comes in your meal, your meal ready to eat. You hold on to that Tabasco sauce, Rick.
It's the little tiny bottle.
The little tiny bottles.
You know, I gotta say, Bob, I do not. I love hot sauce.
Yeah.
And if I'm somewhere and I get a little tiny Tabasco bottle,
Yeah.
I keep it.
Oh, you absolutely got to keep it.
I'm like, you can't throw that out.
No.
No,
Yeah,
you got to
never
use
know
it.
when you're going to need that.
Yeah.
You get some bland food. You gotta use it
I think I saw it to my wife the other night.
by using a tiny bottle of Tabasco.
Well, so she made a fantastic pork stew.
Oh.
I know you wouldn't eat it, but
Yeah.
but it was a pork tenderloin, but in it was potatoes and carrots and celery and peas and a really good broth, and it was very tasty. And I sat there with her, and I'm eating it, and I just said, "Would you mind if I got some hot sauce?" And I should have, I knew. Like, I mean, to ask that question, like, you
Right.
just know.
The
Like,
chef is not going to be pleased.
yeah. And
Yeah.
she was just like, fine.
Oh man.
And as Cap stands there holding his shield up, being a very much a forefront of the men that are showing up behind him. All right, men, we can do this. General says we need to take this hill. Let's show them what we're made of. Watch each other's backs. Look out for enemy. And then before he can complete the word, there's a giant mortar explosion.
Boom.
And men go flying. We're pinned, Cap. Too many of them. We're sitting ducks here. Just hang tight, soldier. Reinforcements are on the way. I hope. And he stands there in front of him, taking fire on his shield. And while an old friend who didn't know me yet tried to make a difference on the ground, I made mine in the skies. Look, there they are. And then who's he pointing to, Bob?
Well, I mean, it's a full splash, right? And what we're seeing here is a whole squadron of what looks like P-51 Mustangs, coming in, and leading them looks to be Sam Wilson, but he's no longer wearing the red, white, and blue Captain America garb. he has recolored this outfit into the army olive drab green, and even the shield strapped to his back is in green colors, the army colors, and but he's still got the wings on, man, and he's swooping down at the head of the squadron of aircraft.
Yeah, and he's got some aviator goggles on too.
Yeah, looking good.
Okay, fellas, just like we practiced, let's get these boots out of a hole. Now, when he says "get these boots out of a hole," Bob, what is he referring to here?
Well, I'm assuming he's boots, of course, refer to infantry.
Of course,
Yeah, and they're
everybody knows that, Bob.
yeah. Well, and he's they're kind of stuck in a hole here, right? They can't move forward, they can't move back. They're pinned down by enemy fire.
And so the bunker is now firing at the planes, but Sam just flies down and hits out the turret, the guy from who was sitting there firing into the sky. I'll take care of those turrets. You ready, Holiday? On your mark, sir. What'd I tell you about that sir stuff? We're all the same rank here. Now let's clear a path. And the Mustang. When you said Mustang, of course, I think a lot of our readers are like the car.
Oh, right.
No,
Yeah.
the jet fighters are throwing bombs or dropping bombs down below, and one of them makes a big noise.
Sure does. Boom.
And yeah, this was a big moment. After all, technically speaking, this was the first time I met Captain America. And we cut to after all of that melee is over in the woods, and we see Captain America. What's he doing, Bob?
He's got his right hand braced on a tree, and he's bent over, emptying the contents of his stomach, Rick.
Some people just call that vomiting.
They
but,
do.
You know,
they
all
do.
right.
Yeah.
You all right, friend? I'm fine. I just need a second. And Cap puts his mask back on. Sorry, they told me to keep this on. It's all right. I can keep your secrets, so long as you don't mind keeping mine. I heard rumors about you, the man in the air. I didn't come up with that, but I appreciate it if those remained rumors. But you were a hero up there. Don't you want people to know? No. Let's be real here. If the military's top guys got real confirmation of these wings, they'd be pretty tempted to put them on a soldier that looks a little more like, well, you. Understood. Besides, I'm not trying to be a hero, just looking out for the guys I serve with, trying to do my part to end this war. Well, you're doing a hell of a job of it. Those men, they trust you with their lives. Me, I'm still learning how to fight and how to hold on to my lunch. This is only my second week on the front. Some of what I saw out there. I'd tell you you get used to it, but you don't. I'm not even a soldier. I'm just a kid from New York. Yeah. How'd you know I'm from New York? The accent. I don't want to let anyone down. They want me to be this symbol, something that gives everyone hope. I'm trying, but so far it just feels like I'm faking it. And it always will. But that doesn't mean you are. Listen to me, Captain America. Something tells me when they picked you, they weren't looking for the soldier. They were looking for the man. And something tells me you're more than up for this job. You're going to lead these men to victory, and then another victory, and another. But that's not what really is going to matter. You're going to show the whole country, the whole world, the absolute best of us. You're going to inspire generations to come. You're going to be a hero, Cap. And he puts his hand on his shoulder. You you really believe all that? I'd bet my life on it. We do got to talk about that shield, though. You should ask for them for a round one. Give you something to throw. Throw? And then we have a montage of different scenes happening as Sam thinks through everything he experienced. We served together on the battlefield many more times. I got to watch him grow into the Captain America we all needed. And in time, we he did lead us to victory, which meant I got to come home. Funny in its own way, but this place, this time, it really was starting to feel like just that. Home. Steve, of course, didn't get to do the same. His war ended in heartbreak, trapped in suspended animation. And while Steve slept in the ice, I started to build a life for myself. Again, I felt that pull. Or maybe it was a calling. Either way, I answered. Found a little church in North Carolina that needed a pastor. Like to think my dad and my brother would have been pleased about that. And the truth is, I came to love it myself. And that wasn't all I came to love. I met someone, and another dream came true. A family of my own. I was happy, at peace. But more years passed, and I felt myself getting pulled again to fight in another kind of war. The struggle for civil rights raged through the country. I had to do my part. Together we marched through the streets. Together we faced down their hatred. Together we suffered and bled. Still, we persevered. And Bob, what are we seeing with all of these montages going past?
Yeah, I mean, we're seeing different scenes from his life, right? I mean, we see him becoming a pastor and falling in love and getting married and having a child. We see him riding a bus, in the deep South with protesters and marching for civil rights at the head of a very large group of protesters carrying signs about civil rights. We see him and his allies being sprayed with fire hoses, and being charged at with by police with batons. We see him with his friends in a jail cell, and on and on. And as you just left off, we still see Steve frozen in ice.
More years passed, and more after that. I stayed in the pulpit through all of them. And he's standing at the pulpit. Now he's got a little gray or maybe some white hair at
Yeah.
the temples, right?
Right. Yeah.
Let's open our Bibles to the book of Matthew, chapter 5. I tried to do what I could to help those in need and watch as a house full of children became a house full of grandchildren. Till the day came, I hardly recognized myself in the mirror. And then it finally came, the moment I've been waiting for. And what did we just see there?
Well, we see a TV set in the living room, and we see his wife, who's got gray hair and sitting on the couch with presumably his son and a granddaughter in the background, and they're watching a television. And we don't see what's on the TV, but we can guess what they're seeing.
Dad, you see this? You said you met him in the war, right? After all that time, my best friend, the man who taught me how to be a hero, finally woke up. And he did. He was rescued by the Avengers. And then there's a on the TV report, Bob. There's a newscaster. What's he saying?
Breaking news this evening as Captain America, the Sentinel of Liberty, has been found suspended in ice, revived by the new team of heroes calling themselves the Avengers. The captain himself has issued a statement promising to work with these new heroes and pledging to return to the fight for justice. Plans are already underway for a welcome back parade in New York City next week.
And we cut to that, and there is a big parade for welcoming Cap back. And Cap's there front and center. The world celebrated. We had our hero back. Suddenly, everything felt possible again. And Cap's there signing autographs. There's people saying, sign my poster. My grandma was in love with you. Are you going to run for president? And I like this one, Bob. Take a selfie with me.
Right. Yeah.
Right? So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Sliding
yeah.
timeline, buddy.
Yeah. And everybody wanted something. Me, I just wanted to see him again one more time. And we do. We see Sam there. And now Sam is elderly at this point. Uh, I would guess 80,
Looks to be, yeah.
right? I mean, just think about it, right? We don't know when this is happening, right? I mean, he could be 90 for all we know, right? Because um, World War II was a long time ago. So if this is, oh, I don't know, 2000, right? Because of the,
People got smartphones.
yeah. So 60 years have passed. He was, I mean, in World War II, I mean, when he went there, wasn't he like, I don't know, 30 at the time? I mean, yeah, he could be 90 at this point.
Right.
But
yeah.
he's in his military, what do you call this?
His greens, his dress uniform.
Okay.
Yeah. Surface A's.
Me, I just wanted to see him again one more time. Figured that would be enough. And he starts to walk away, but Cap yells out, "Hey, wait. You back there. It's you, isn't it? You remember me? Are you kidding? You think I'd ever forget my wingman?" And they hug each other. Bob, I got a little choked up when
I am
I
right
saw
now.
that.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's beautiful stuff.
it is.
Friendship. Yeah.
So then we cut to VFW, and the two of them are sitting at a table and sharing a cup of coffee. And there's a poster of Captain America on the wall saying, you know, we want you
Yeah. I hadn't even noticed that.
for U.S. Army. I just don't know, Paul. The world's changed so much while I've been gone. I don't even know if I even have a place here. These people are treating me like I'm the answer to all their problems. I don't know how anyone can live up to that. You will. Same way that scared kid from New York learned how to lead us to victory in the war. You'll learn how to be the symbol these people are desperate for. A lot's changed, but people still need heroes. That means you. Or the man in the air. Heh. Nobody's called me that for a very, very long time. These days it's just preacher or pastor. You're a minister? I am. And I want you to know, Cap, my door is always open for you. You're going to face some challenges on the road ahead. It's not always going to be easy, but you're not alone. And if you ever need someone to listen, and he did take me up on that offer many times, like when he found out the entire United States government had been infiltrated and taken over by a group called the Secret Empire. It shook him to his core and even made him give up being Captain America. Then When we showed up after service one Sunday, we talked and we prayed. He was back carrying the shield not long after. The strangest part for me was watching him ride into battle alongside, well, me. I'd be lying if I said I didn't feel some tinge of jealousy looking at that younger version of me, especially when I dug out the old wings out of the attic. Of course, I missed it, but I had a different kind of work to do, ministering to the sick. And when they went on, ministering to those who mourned them. Steve stayed busy too, fought a superhero civil war against one of his trusted allies, and even died for a time. But like always, he came back. What scenes are we looking at here, Bob?
Yeah, well, we're looking at the first Civil War series where Cap and Tony Stark, Iron Man, are battling over the Superhero Registration Act, and then we see him on the steps of the courthouse when he eventually turned himself in, shot and killed, with Sharon kneeling by his side.
In the world I lived in, though, death worked differently. And so I said many goodbyes to those I loved dearly. I watched those heroes I once fought alongside from the ground this time. Like everyone else, I marveled at what they could do while trying to live up to their example best I could for as long as I could. And we see an older pastor standing at the pulpit. Let's open our Bibles to the book of Matthew, chapter 5. And I like the fact that they're repeating that
Yeah.
from earlier, because I don't know about you. I mean, when I go to church, I sometimes think about that. You know, when the priest is giving the same reading, you know, for the umpteenth time.
Yeah.
Is it still meaningful to him, you know,
Yeah.
or her, or whomever?
Right. I also like that they've selected that particular reading, the Sermon of the Mount,
Right.
because it's what Sam's all about, right? It's the story of his life here.
Yeah. Blessed are the cheesemakers.
Right. So.
I would have been more impressed if you told me to shut up, Big Nose.
Yeah, I just saw a clip the other night. I showed it to my son from The Life of Brian, the stoning clip, right?
Oh, the stoning clip?
The Jehovah.
Oh, Jehovah. I got to tell you, I laughed my ass. So, all right, I went to an all-boy Catholic high school, and I have to tell you, it was pretty progressive. We took an Old Testament class and a New Testament class in our freshman year. How old are you when you're a freshman? Like 14,
14, right? Yeah.
So, but here was in the Old Testament class, the priest showed that particular clip. and you have to understand,
yeah,
the Monty Python's The Life of the of Brian was banned by the Catholic Church.
Right. Yeah.
And
yeah,
here he is showing a clip in this class. And it was hilarious because what he was trying to show was the point was that here were women were second-class citizens.
Yeah.
And they were not allowed to be at stonings. So it was women dressed up as men.
Yeah.
You know, so they could go to the stoning because they really wanted to be there.
Right. Yeah.
But in reality, it was men pretending to be women, pretending to be men.
Right. Yeah.
And then add all of that
to
the fact that the Pharisee, played masterfully by John Cleese, is the showing the hypocrisy of just an absurdity of the rules
Yeah.
of the Old Testament, of like you can't say Jehovah, and you're not allowed to throw a stone, and whatever. It was
Yeah.
God. Listeners, if you haven't seen that clip, just Google uh, Monty Python Life of Brian stoning scene. It is hilarious.
Worth the price of admission.
All right, should we get back to the comic?
Yes.
Which brings me to the last time I saw Captain America. He'd lost the super soldier serum and had the wrinkles to show for it. I try not to give him too hard a time. Now, how would you describe Steve Rogers in this scene?
Yeah. Well, he's wearing his Commander Rogers outfit, right? And he's got gray hair. He's definitely looking certainly in his 70s here,
Mm-hmm.
with gray hair, and bags under his eyes. He's a dignified looking gentleman, but he's definitely an older gentleman.
And I never understood this because, like, his maybe his head is that way,
Yeah.
but you took his head off and put a mask over it.
Yeah.
His body is built like a 28-year-old, perfected.
Yeah.
Uh,
Well, hold on a second though, because this is compression material, Rick. And I just want to tell you, not to go too far afield, but I came home tonight. I had a lecture I gave, and I had a like a polo shirt on, and then a t-shirt underneath. So I took off my polo shirt because my wife made me a quick meal, and it was pasta. I didn't want to get it on me. And my son said, "Wow, like you look good." And then he said, "Where did you get a t-shirt that made you look that way?" And I said, "It's not the t-shirt, it's me." And he's like, no, take the t-shirt off. Let me try it on. so I took the t-shirt off and handed it to him. He's like, "Oh yeah, it was definitely the t-shirt." So it was pulling everything where it was supposed to be.
Okay.
Right.
All right. Sure.
So I'm thinking,
all right. If you want to say it, but I'm sorry, he's got a 6-pack.
Oh yeah, okay.
Right. So like unless it's one of those Halloween costumes that have the fake 6-packs on there.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Muscle memory, I guess. I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess so.
He does look good. I mean, he doesn't look like, the scrawny Captain America that we've seen when he's been depowered before.
Yeah. Right. Which is why why Sam took over being Captain America, because he was scrawny. Yeah, he was old and pre-serum.
Yeah,
basically. So the two of them are sitting on the front porch of supposedly, presumably, I should say, Sam's house, and they're just sitting there having a conversation. Well, small comfort, I know, but at least you finally look your age. Sharon says I look dignified. She's a very kind-hearted woman. You think he's the right choice then? I don't know if it's my place to say. Then Cap has a look on his face.
Yeah.
Like I caught you. Kind of, like I know what's going on here kind of look on his face. I always wondered about the two of you. The wings look almost identical. I thought maybe, but you never asked him. Well, I gave you my word. I hope I'm doing the right thing here. It's not Sam I have doubts about. It's just, I keep wondering, is this a blessing or a burden? With the shape of the world is right now, is it even fair to ask someone else to be Captain America? Steve, I somehow doubt he's taking the job with any illusions that it won't be hard. But I suspect his biggest challenge isn't going to be the world. It'll be you. Sorry? I mean, you cast a very long shadow, and he'll be waking up every morning wondering how he could possibly do what you did. Live up to your legacy. That'll be his burden. You never had to fill someone else's boots. You made it up as you went along, and you somehow made it look easy. You inspired a whole damn nation, Steve, and you did it twice. You might be surprised to learn the rest of us don't have that natural ability. Ha! What? Paul, you helped win the war. You were a hero who saved countless lives, and no one even knows you did it. Heck, you had to hide the fact that you were doing it from the same military you were fighting for. You came back home and you marched for civil rights. You stood up to racism and prejudice and have the scars to show for it. You spent decades ministering to generations of people, feeding the homeless, caring for the sick. The entire time you did all this, you never sought any recognition, never asked any reward. Best I could tell, you didn't want anyone to notice. You just did those things because you knew they were the right things to do. So, who do you think inspired me? It's hard to put into words how it made me feel hearing that. Suddenly, everything changed for me. Even the things I'd seen before, the things I thought were so important, felt different. I watched myself, my younger self, become Captain America. But for the first time, it didn't feel like me anymore. I spent a lifetime here without someone else's shadow cast over me. I made my own way, tried to do what I thought was right, and it was enough. Now, don't get me wrong. I was proud of all of it. Every name I'd taken, every life I'd lived. But this was the first time I'd really, truly felt like my own man. Not someone's partner or ally or best friend. Not trying to live up to someone else's legacy. It felt good. It felt right. And as soon as I realized that, I felt it again. The pull. I knew it was something different this time. I felt the memories of two lifetimes wash over me. Sometimes I won, and sometimes I lost. But I tried. The peace came from knowing that. I was ready. Ready to say goodbye. Ready for what comes next. And Bob, at this point, we cut back to the opening scene where it's Sam Wilson in the Captain America garb sitting at the table underneath that spotlight having a conversation. Mr. Wilson, Captain, the question. Right. The question. What do I remember? And he crosses his arms and looks down. Not a damn thing. Mr. Wilson, need I remind you this session is entirely voluntary? We are conducting a fact-finding investigation. We're just trying to get to the bottom of certain things. That's right. No one is in any trouble. Well, that's a relief. You know, I've been in trouble with S.H.I.E.L.D. before. I'd hate to make a habit of it. S.H.I.E.L.D. no longer exists. We're an independent commission operating under the jurisdiction of the United National Security Council. Sure. And if it walks like a duck, Look, we can go around for hours and hours, or we can get straight to the point. This is a matter of vital global security, Mr. Wilson. We need to know, where is Kobik? Bob, who is Kobik?
That is the sentient cosmic cube, Rick, who appears in the form of a young girl.
She was the one who brought about Hydra Cap
She did, and set things right
afterwards.
afterwards.
So at this point, Sam stands up, puts his Captain America mask back on. Fellas, I'm going to tell you the same thing I told the agents on the scene, and every one of you that has asked me since. I have no idea where she is. But if I did, you'd be the last people I'd tell. Mr. Wilson, where do you think you're going? Thought you said this was voluntary. And he walks out the door. All this started because these same people try to play God with a cosmic cube. Now they can't wait to go and make the same mistake all over again. What did we learn? And he gets to the door of the rooftop and he opens up the door to go out. And who do we see, Bob?
Well, we see all those characters who have been pulled into their own storylines in the Generations comics. Amadeus Cho and Laura Kinney and Kamala Khan and Carol Danvers and Jane Foster and Riri and who's the Hawkeye girl? Kate Bishop.
Yep.
Miles Morales, and I'm not sure who the other one is.
That's a young Jean Grey.
Okay,
She's
Jean
out
Grey.
of time.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, and so they're all on the rooftop, and it's the middle of the day. And the Hulk says, "Took you long enough." And Carol Danvers, who's standing there in the middle with her hands on her hip, seriously, I told them to bleep off after the first 5 minutes. I was trying to be polite. They questioned all of you? And Jean Grey speaks up. 4 hours. Only one thing they really care about, though. Miles speaks up. Does it take a mind reader, Kobik, that cosmic cube girl who sent us wherever we were? And Kate Bishop chimes in. Yeah, it was a real party. Now, I don't know about you people, but I'm starving. So we sat together, laughed together. After all we had been through, it was just what we needed. But there was something else in the air, something we shared, unspoken. It hadn't been time travel. We checked the records, and according to them, Pastor Paul Jeffries never existed. But it was real just the same. Question was, what did it all mean? And as everybody leaves after the meal, it's just Sam and Jane Foster's Thor standing there talking to each other. And she points out to Sam, "You were changed." We all were, right, Thor? It's been a hell of a year. That is not what I meant, Sam Wilson. The vanishing point. We all experienced it. All of us were transported through reality itself to meet the ones who came before us. And so we met, and then returned not long after. But you have the look of a man who has lived a lifetime. Tell me, what did you see? How much the ground can shift under a man's feet over the course of his days. How much progress can be made, and how far he'll still want to go. I am intrigued. Kobik, what do you think the girl was trying to tell us? Honestly, I don't know. But if I had to guess, I'd say, sure, she wanted us to see the folks whose footsteps we're following in, back when they were starting out. Show us we're worthy of standing in those shoes. But more than that, I think she wanted to get us thinking about walking our own paths, building our own legacies. And we cut to later that night, and we see a man on a motorcycle with a helmet. He's keeping a low profile. But when you have the eyes on of every bird on the planet, it doesn't take long to find an old friend. And the man takes off his motorcycle helmet. And who is it, Bob?
It's Steve, and he's young again.
Yeah, and he's in his civilian identity.
Yes.
I know if I try to talk to him, he'll say no. Better to just make it clear. And we see a shield, the Captain America shield, being hurled from high up down towards Steve as he's got his back to it. And we turn the page, and Steve catches it. My mind's made up. It's time for what's next for both of us. And in the straps of the shield is a handwritten note. And Steve pulls it out and reads it. Dear Steve, when you handed me this shield, you said you had a mission for me. Now I've got one for you. You're going to overcome this. I know you have your doubts. You wonder if you can earn back their trust, inspire them again. And I'm telling you, you will. You're going to be the hero they need, the one they've always hoped for. I bet my life on it. And at that point, we see Sam standing up on the high building overlooking Steve, looking down, and he's got all the birds flying around him. And we see Steve in his civilian clothing holding Captain America's shield. The end.
That's some good stuff, my friend.
What'd you think, Bob?
I love this story. Anyone who doubts Nick Spencer's contributions to the Captain America mythos, this one story is just demonstrates his capacity for understanding these characters and their relationship with each other. And there's so much to like about this story. And the writing is just poignant.
It really is. I 100% agree. I'm glad we got to this off of your bucket list. And it was a great story. I really appreciated it because, man, so much happened in there. And it gives you a whole new appreciation for Sam Wilson. And I love the fact that he realized, like, he finally zapped back into the present time after he had his own realization that he doesn't have any shadow that he needs to live up to.
Right. Yeah.
And wow. Right. I mean, not only did he help during World War II but after everything he did after the fact, as a pastor, civil rights, all of that. And it's almost like a story. I mean, listen, I think on a surface level, this story is, hey, Sam's his own character, he's his own man, and he deserves to be Captain America, and he has made his own sacrifices. Let this character be, right? Like, I get that element of the story.
Yeah.
But I also think it's inspirational.
Yeah.
I also think it's something that each one of us can read and say, wow, each one of us as a person can make a difference in people's lives. You know, if we believe in helping others, we believe in, you know,
Yeah.
community, if we believe in whatever it is, you know, in our own special way, you know, we could do something. And I found the story to be inspirational in that regard.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's telling that right after, I mean, after World War II, he could have kept being the man, with the wings, right? The
Right.
hero in the air, right? But that's not what he chose to do. And like when we think about heroes, we think about super strength and wings and repulsor beams and things like that. But he lived a different life after World War II, and yet still lived a heroic life, which puts it, within the reach of all of us in our own ways. So I love that, and I love that Sam's been around for an awful long time, and sometimes his relationship with Steve. I mean, it's often very conflicted, um, but dare I say it, sometimes it's also very sort of shallow, uh, and we don't get to see a lot of like Sam's depth as a
Mm-hmm.
person beyond Falcon, beyond
Mm-hmm.
his uniform, right? We've seen more of that with Steve, right? Because we've got to see a lot of Steve's development at different points, but not so much for Sam. And in this, we get to see, because he took off the wings, we get to see much more of Sam as a person and the things that he believes and the things that he holds dear. And I really like that.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, not, you're right. Not in the pages of Steve's books, but in the Sam books, we
Yes,
do get to
right.
see that, right? And Nick
Yes, of course.
Spencer, as we
Yes,
mentioned before, you know,
yes,
did an excellent job with his 2 year run on that story. So
yeah,
people should really, you know, check that out. And
really should.
hopefully this will inspire people to do that.
Yeah, yeah,
All right, but I go first.
yeah.
I
Favorite
have
panel.
favorite panel. Um, I gotta say, I'm gonna cheat just a little bit here,
All right.
and I'm gonna go with the last two panels.
Ooh,
They almost could be one,
yeah.
right? Because it's Steve looking, you know, forward, but you also have that panel of Sam
It's
looking
overlaid on
down.
top of that panel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna take those two, and I just love that because it's Sam and Steve connecting, and and Sam's inspiring Steve, right? Because Steve, you always think he's the one inspiring people, but Sam in this case is inspiring Steve. You know, go and do what you need to do and help inspire them again. And I bet my life on it. And then what happens from here is that wonderful Mark Wade, Chris Samney run that is,
Oh,
uh, you
yeah.
know, that goes back into the legacy numbering with the 690s and then,
Yeah.
700, and where Steve's on the road trying to find himself and trying to build back the trust with American citizens after Hydra Cap has just kind of ruined it. So this, I don't know. I love these two
Hmm.
panels for that reason.
Yeah. Beautiful choice.
How
Beautiful
about you?
choice. Mine is there's nothing flashy about it, Rick. There's nothing super special, but it's that second time that we see Cap in the ice. And it's right before the Avengers wake him up. It's around page 17, the
Mm-hmm.
top panel, and it has the thought box that Sam in Sam's words, and it says, "After all that time, my best friend, the man who taught me to be a hero, finally woke up." And I love this for the same reason. I don't know if you've read it yet, but the Captain America Wonder Woman story in the
Mm.
Batman Deadpool has a similar sort of scene and a similar sort of vibe. Um, and it just hits me in a like a very emotional way that he's like in the ice, sleeping while Sam is living this life. And then that moment comes. It's I hate to be sacrilegious, but it's like, going to the tomb on Easter and the stone is rolled away, right? Cap is reborn at just the right moment. And it's it is such an important moment in Marvel history, and obviously in the Cap mythos, and in the way they've used it in this story is just a beautiful thing. So I love this panel.
Great choice. I didn't think of it like that, so I love your view on that. What's going on your T-shirt, Bob?
Well, I hadn't noticed it the first time, so I was going to use something different, but I'm going to do, it's a little bit of cheating, but I'm going to use that Cap recruiting poster hanging in the VFW. I love that. I love World War II Cap stuff. So that Cap recruiting poster, that's definitely going on a shirt.
All right. All right. Technicality. So what panel are you putting from this comic on a T-shirt?
Well,
you can't pull the poster, Bob.
I can't pull the poster?
No, you have to pull a panel from the comic.
All right. Well, that makes it more difficult. Then I'm going with page 18 instead, Rick, which is when Cap hugs Sam and he says, "You think I'd ever forget my wingman?"
Aww.
I love that embrace.
Yeah, we both got choked up on that.
Yeah, it's a powerful, poignant scene. And it just speaks to the depth of their friendship across time.
I like that.
Yeah.
All right. Good choice.
Yeah. How about yourself?
I'm going to cheat a little bit.
All right.
Because it really doesn't belong to this particular comic. They used it for this comic.
Yeah.
And that is the title page where they and they have Cap and Steve and Sam both as Cap.
Yeah.
And it,
that is cool.
Yeah. That gosh, who is I can't remember the name of the artist for that. I think is that Oliver Coppel?
I think it might be. Yeah.
Yeah. So they pulled that from another comic and placed it here in the title, but I like it. I think it would look cool on a T-shirt.
Yeah, it's badass.
Yeah.
Pardon my French.
Oh.
How about in your time capsule?
All right. As a man of faith, Bob, I'm gonna go with where Sam and Steve are praying together.
All right.
Because that's never happened before or happened since. So if you see this in your time capsule, it's from this comic. It's a very relevant part of the story.
Yeah.
And so I'm going with that.
All right. I like that.
How about you?
I'm going with the fact that, we finally learn in this comic on around page 13 that it was Sam who planted the idea in Steve's mind about getting a circular shield.
Oh, I hate that part.
I love that part.
I hate that part.
No, I'm sorry.
No. You go back to Roger Stern, John Byrne.
255, right?
They talk about how
I know. Yeah.
He was given a round shield. He didn't ask for it.
Yeah.
FDR handed him the round shield.
Yeah.
I think we're messing with.
I like it. I think there's a way to smooth over that ripple in continuity and say that this is the germ of that idea. And he might have mentioned it, and they perfected the shield, and FDR gave it to him. So we know we don't see it until Captain America Comics #2. So we had a little bit of the time frame when this happened.
I think those newfangled comics are bogus.
Yeah, well, that's like the beauty of some of these things, right? I really admire writers that can find that little loophole, to explain something that has happened in a very creative way. So, well, I do. I like those attempts. So I'm gonna give them credit for this one.
Well, as we all know from any of the Captain America comic book fantasy drafts, you love a loophole.
I do. I love them. I love them.
All right. Bob, next episode, listeners, come back because we have some guests coming on the show, and it is from the Bob. You ever are curious about your comic book collection and how much it's worth?
Uh, no, but I'm sure my wife and son do.
um, well, there is a company out there called Cover Price, and they have an amazing website that allows you to uh, basically figure out what your personal comic book collection is worth, but much more above and beyond that. They have great content on there, and so they're going to be guests on the show next episode and have a top 10 Captain America list for us.
Ooh, that's going to be fun. I get their emails, and I do like their top tens because they go into quite a bit of detail about every one of the issues, explaining why it's on their top 10 list, or so I think they're very knowledgeable folks. So this should be a lot of fun.
It will be. So make sure you come back next week for that episode. Bob, any final comments before we conclude?
Uh, no, it's just, man, this has been a fun read with you, Rick. I'm glad I got a chance to share it with you.
100%. Thank you for suggesting it. All right. For Bob Lucius, I'm Rick Verbanis, and you have been listening to another episode of the Captain America Comic Book Fans Podcast.